Hello, the name is Regis Kilbin, and the game is Hearthstone, and today I'm going to be bringing you a new deck that I have designed. I'm calling it the Bearded Dragon. This is a new League of Explorers Paladin deck that utilizes Brann Bronzebeard, along with some pretty interesting dragon synergy that utilizes a lot of battlecries and combines it all together to make a really fun late game control Paladin deck that's surprisingly good on the ladder. If you have a handful of legendaries, you like to play Paladin, and you want to experiment with the power of Brann Bronzebeard, then this might just be the deck for you. So the general goal with the Bearded Dragon deck is really like any mid to late game control Paladin deck. You want to survive early using really high value cards like Shielded Minibot, Muster for Battle. You want to start to stabilize in the mid game using taunts like Twilight Guardian and Defender of Argus on stuff like a Twilight Drake or a Blackwing Technician. You want to control the board with your removal spells like Equality, Consecration, and your weapons like True Silver Champion. And finally, you want to win the game with late game tempo plays using Dragon Consort and really big, strong, powerful creatures like Dr. Boom, Tyrion, Nefarian, and so on. So this is not a deck that's going to win quickly. It's a deck that wants to extend games out and win the long battle, even sometimes playing all the way to fatigue and just winning on pure heals and minion value. But you can usually pull out wins earlier than that thanks to the tempo that Dragon Consort provides, or just the constant bombing of big minions. Dr. Boom followed by Tyrion, followed by Nefarian. Those kind of plays just win you games. So regarding the Bearded Dragon, let's just go ahead and take a look at each individual card. I think that's helpful if I just run through each card and break down its purpose in the deck and how it works and why it's there. So starting off Equality, this changes the health of all minions to 1. It's just your ultimate removal spell. You can use your minions for Muster for Battle or a Hero Power Silverhand Recruit to kill anything in the game. So Equality just adds up tons of value. It can also be comboed with Consecration for a board wipe. And that's really nice if you fall behind and on turn 6 you just need a bomb that gets you out of jail. Equality Consecration is that bomb. Just destroys the enemy and allows you to stabilize, kind of hit the reset button, and win from there. Shielded Minibot, 2 mana mech. It's a 2-2 with Divine Shield. This is essentially the ultimate 2 mana value minion. There's really not too many better turn 2 plays than Shielded Minibot. It allows you to get out onto the board early and start making trades and preserving your side of the board effectively and efficiently. Coghammer, there's one of these included in this deck simply because sometimes it can be a little scary in the early game, and having a taunt and Divine Shield and a weapon all bundled into one card is super nice. So if you play something like a Blackwing Technician on turn 3, you can follow it up with a Coghammer to give it Divine Shield, clear a 2 health minion, and stabilize behind a taunt 1 turn quicker. When you have cards like Twilight Drake in the deck as well, Coghammer combined with those can be absolutely huge, just totally stopping aggro decks in their tracks. So Coghammer is really nice to have one of. You don't want 2 just because we have a 3 mana and a 4 mana pair of weapons already, so you can occasionally load your hand up with weapons, and that's a little scary, and Coghammer's not good in that situation. You really want to use Coghammer when you already have a minion on the board. Up next is the Muster for Battle 3 mana spell. This summons 3/1/1 Silverhand Recruits and equips a 1/4 weapon for you. So again, this is just kind of the ultimate turn 3 value play for every Paladin. It loads up your board. It gives you minions to work with for things like Defender of Argus and the aforementioned Coghammer. It gives you a nice weapon that can either just add up for 4 damage to the enemy's face or ping off 1 health minions, which tend to occur. So it does a little bit of everything. And then after that, we've got Blackwing Technician. This is our first kind of dragon synergy card. It's also our follow-up curve to Shielded Minibot for a really strong turn 3 play. It's a 3/5 for 3 mana, which is insane. You'll usually have dragons in your hand. There are plenty of dragons in the stack. Even if you don't, a 2/4 for 3 is not bad, especially when you can use Defender of Argus next turn or Coghammer to buff it up. But if you do get that 3/5 for 3 out, it's really nice to play on curve following a Shielded Minibot. It's even okay in the late game. A 3/5 is something you can work with and taunt up and kind of hide behind. So Blackwing Technician is good all around. It's just a great on-curve tempo play. And then next is the card that gives this deck its name, Brann Bronzebeard. That's why we're playing the Bearded Dragon. Uther has a beard. Brann's Bronzebeard has a beard, and of course there are lots of dragons. This is the new card from League of Explorers that really defines this deck and allows it to exist. Dragon Paladins have always been around, but lacked a little bit of punch, and I found that Brann Bronzebeard has given it that extra reach that it needs. I didn't mean to remove him from our deck. Let's find him. So he is a 3-mana 2/4, which is reasonable. That's a fine stat allocation, but the real power comes with his effect. Your battlecries trigger twice. So conveniently, there are a lot of dragon cards with battlecries. You'll note as we go here, all the dragon cards in this deck almost have battlecries. So if you have Brann Bronzebeard on the board and you play a Twilight Drake, instead of gaining 1 health for each card in your hand, it actually effectively gains 2 health. So a 4/8 Twilight Drake becomes a 4/15 Twilight Drake. Imagine taunting up a 4/15 Twilight Drake. If they don't have a silence, you pretty much win the game right there. Twilight Guardian actually gains 2 attacks, so it becomes a 4/6. That's a small one, but still significant. Blackwing Corruptor actually hits minions for 6 total damage. Dragon Consort reduces Dragon's cost by 4. So you can play a Nefarian for 5 mana. It's crazy. Nefarian gives you 4 spells from your hand. Even Dr. Boom here summons 4 Boombots instead of 2 Boombots. Defender of Argus buffs things for +2/+2. Blackwing Tech becomes a 4/6 instead of a 3/5. Even Coghammer, since it is a battlecry, gives 2 minions Divine Shield and Taunt if you get lucky. So almost every card in this deck actually benefits from Brann Bronzebeard, and it makes a nice Dragon Paladin that much better when you can pull those turns off. Now, admittedly, he's a legendary. He's only one of. You're not going to get him in every game when you need him, but those plays where he does do well can absolutely seal the deal for games you otherwise might lose. So Brann Bronzebeard is a nice solid body with a crazy effect attached to it, and he really does allow this deck to exist. Up next is True Silver Champion. This is really just the ultimate Paladin value weapon. Allows you to clear and heal up from time to time. Consecration is your area of effect spell. Against aggro decks, you can use it to deal 2 damage. It's really nice just to clear off weak minions, but it combos with equality even better, or just allows you to make efficient trades with cheap little silver hand recruits that might be on the board. And it's really just your get out of jail free card in a sense. Up next is Defender of Argus, gives adjacent minions +1/+1, and Taunt. That's good for hero power minions. That's good for things like Twilight Drake or Dragon Consort to give them extra value instead of just their big bodies. It works well with shielded mini-bots and all the divine shields that this deck can utilize. So Defender of Argus is also buffed by Brann Bronzebeard. It just does a lot of different things well and helps you stabilize in the mid-game as long as you have a minion or 2 on board. Twilight Drake is mostly popular in handlock decks, but it works here simply because you usually do have 4 or 5 cards in the early game when you play this, so it's going to be a 4/5 or a 4/6 most times. There will be times in the late game where it becomes like a 4/3, and that's not very good, but there are other times you combo with Brann Bronzebeard and suddenly it's a 4/15 or a 4/16 that just wins you the game. So Twilight Drake isn't quite as good as it is in handlock or those kinds of decks in general, but it's still strong here. You've also got the Twilight Guardian. This is the more reliable version of Twilight Drake. It's easier to get the effect off well, and it still gives you a solid body and a taunt to hide behind and a dragon to work with for future dragon synergy. Then we've got the Antique Healbot. This is your 5-mana 3/3 mech that restores 8 health to your hero. This is another tool to stabilize in the mid-game. If somebody gets a really aggressive start, this can buy you an extra turn or 2 to taunt up and recover. Plus, if you play this with a Brann Bronzebeard, which does happen, it will restore 16 health to your hero, which is absolutely insane, and shuts out aggro decks with one fell swoop. Then there's Blackwing Corruptor, another 5-drop. This is just a solid body that has a really nice battlecry effect. It does 3 damage. That's good for pinging off minions, can even be used against the enemy face. And it does 6 damage if you happen to have a Brann Bronzebeard, so that's really scary. You can kill a lot of different things if that were to happen. So Blackwing Corruptor is just a good tempo play and another mid-game stabilizer. Then there's Dragon Consort, our third 5-drop. This is a 5/5 body, which is just really strong and high value, but the battlecry is where it really gets interesting. The next dragon you play costs 2 less. That allows you to play a turn 7 Nefarian, another dragon consort for only 3 mana, a Twilight Drake for 2 mana. You can do some pretty crazy stuff with Dragon Consort. Again, if you combo with Brann Bronzebeard, you're really going to be able to go crazy, and it's just a good minion on its own. Even if you don't have a dragon in hand, that effect still sticks, so the next dragon you get will allow you to make a really big tempo play. Then there's Dr. Boom. I don't need to say too much here. The game's best minion, best card, combos with Brann. It's a perfect turn 7 drop. Lay on Hands is the 8 mana spell, or restores 8 health. This is just another way to recover in the late game, because remember, this is a control deck that wants to win long games, but it also helps you refill your hand. You can run out of steam occasionally with this deck. You have a really smooth curve through turn 5, so you shouldn't run out of steam in regards to card advantage, but if you do start to get thin late, Lay on Hands can be that bailout to help you dig for the resources you need to finish off long games. Tyrian Fordring is the perfect 8 drop, much like Dr. Boom, probably just the game's best minion in that slot and loaded with value. He doesn't actually combo with dragons or Brann Bronzebeard, but he's just too good to pass up in any Paladin deck, so he finds a home here too. And then finally, Nefarian is our really big late game dragon to seal the deal. 2 random spells is great for long games just because it gives you additional resources that don't draw from your deck. The 8/8 body is a little bit susceptible to Big Game Hunter, but since you do have Dr. Boom already, you can kind of mitigate that sometimes. And he still gives you instant value. Plus, if you happen to get him off with Brann Bronzebeard, getting 4 random spells can be insane and allow you to win games all on its own. So that's our 30 card list for the Bearded Dragon Paladin deck. Real quickly, I want to talk about the mulligans, and then we're going to take this thing into a game or two to see how it plays. In regards to the mulligans, it's really pretty simple. You want your 2 and 3 drop cards, everything else you want to throw away. Shielded Minibots are your highest priority. Coghammer and Muster for Battle are next up just because they're so good on turn 3. And then Blackwing Tech and Brann Bronzebeard are also fine. You don't typically want to play Brann right on turn 3 unless you suspect your opponent can't remove him. You want to make sure you get value out of him. So the Blackwing Tech is a much better turn 3 play. But Brann can be okay if you absolutely need an emergency body to combo with Defender of Argus in a turn or slow down a really, really aggressive deck. You don't want to see a quality in your mulligan. It's a spell that you want to save for the late game or the mid game at the very, very earliest. If you are absolutely dead in your mulligan, you don't have Shielded Minibot, you don't have Coghammer, you don't have Muster for Battle or Blackwing Tech, and you see a 4-drop that's True Silver Champion or Twilight Guardian, it's okay to keep those, but only if you don't have these. Just these are like your desperate, I have to have a play by turn 4 or I'm just totally dead. So keep an eye out for those as well, but mostly look for this set of 5 cards right here to make sure you get off to a smooth start. Otherwise you might just have too slow of a beginning and never actually recover, even though that's where you're good, is in the mid to late game. So you do need 1 or 2 of these cards to survive until this stuff starts hitting. Alright, so that's the strategy card by card breakdown and mulligan. Let's actually take this into a game or two. Just so you can see it in action, get some more thoughts about the mulligan and gameplay decisions and how much fun this deck can be. We may win, we may lose. I've been playing this deck on the ranked ladder for a couple days now, and so far I've been seeing about a 60% win rate. My rank's all over the place because I'm testing out all kinds of new decks, but from ranks 5, probably from ranks 6 to 4, I've been seeing about a 60 to 65% win rate. So it definitely has potential.
I will fight with honor.
And if you're, middling in the ranks 15 to 10, you'll really start to climb on the back of this deck. So, real quickly, we had the Shielded Minibot, so we were free to throw away anything else, and we got a second Shielded Minibot. I wish we had the coin, we'd go ahead and play both, but these are still good. We have a turn 2 and a turn 3 play if necessary. These are not good yet, but man, it's sure nice to have those for later. The game's 2 best minions, I would argue. So this looks like it's going to be a Zoo Warlock. That can be scary, but I think we do have the answers we need. This is a nice turn 4 play to get. This will be our turn 3 probably, unless something else happens. With a this is an answer to it. Okay, so I'd love to play this, but we don't actually have a dragon right now, unfortunately, so we have to play this instead. And we're gonna make this trade just to protect the Divine Shield and the other mini pot. He won't make the trade here. He won't feel like he has to waste 4 attack on a Divine Shield, which will set us up to kill that with the True Silver next turn. We want to preserve our life total, so we're making that slightly unfavorable trade. If he has an Imp Gang boss, we'll probably still kill the Nerubian. Maybe not. I'll have to think about it. Okay, that's the play. So, we're gonna play this no matter what, right? These are not good plays right now. The question is, what do we kill? If we kill the Imp Gang boss, it's gonna spawn a 1/1. Okay? In that case, the 1/1 will trade into the Divine Shield for free, basically. And he could clear this and make that a 4/2, which is awkward for me to kill next turn. If I kill the Nerubian now, he's going to get an extra 1/1 eventually, because he'll be able to make this trade, spawn a 1/1, have a 2/1 and a 1/1, and another 1/1 in a future turn. But we delay that 1/1 being able to attack by a turn. So I think that's actually a little bit better. If I make the damage into Imp Gang boss, in other words, the 1/1 will be able to attack on his turn. If he makes the attack to spawn the 1/1, it's going to delay it by a turn.
Weapon ready.
I'm not 100% sure that's the right play, but that's the consideration you should make. So in other words, we'd give him 3 damage a turn sooner, and instead we're going to give him 4 damage later, because we're better later. And if he doesn't make this trade, we still have a clean clear here as well.
So many possibilities.
If that hits, that's sad. Okay, good. We can still kill the Knife Juggler now. It's gonna be an ugly trade into the Voidwalker, but...
Get in there and fight!
Uh-oh. So unfortunately, we still don't have a dragon. We have to kill this Knife Juggler. It's just too big of a threat. We're gonna play the Blackwing and a hero power, even though it's not buffed. The Brann could win us the game later, so I have to save his effect. The +1/+1 here is not too significant, so.
From the void I come.
He's gonna make a trade, okay. Alright, that's not the best card in the world, but it's something to work with.
Reporting for duty. My shield for our battle.
Now, we could kill the Imp Gang boss, but that's going to spawn 2 1/1s and get him free trades. Instead, we're going to make this trade. For similar reasons as before, we don't want to spawn the Imps for him. He likely doesn't have a way to do 1 damage. He's probably not running Mortal Coil, so
Put this apple on your head.
that's a way to do 1 damage.
My
But,
shield for Argon.
oh, good. He missed the... That's a big deal. That's a big deal, too. Alright, we still don't have a good play except for Boom, but if we play Boom, are we just dead? 7, 9, 12. No, we're not dead. We have to play Boom here, unfortunately. And we have to make this trade. Just because the 3 damage is so much more threatening than the 1, plus we had a chance of the Knife Juggler hitting a Boom Bot and killing something for us, so there were 2 reasons to do that. So we're not in a great position here. Tyrion is good as long as he doesn't have a silence. We might also consider Lay on Hands if we stick some of these minions on the board.
Possibilities.
If he kills Boom by trading in, we could adjust our game plan. It's really up to him now. It's a power overwhelming, that's pretty good. we dead? Not on board, but okay. He's just planning here. That's pretty tough. Alright, that's okay. I think we have to hope that our Tyrion sticks here. We might just be dead to the board. Oh, this is what makes Brann so good, boys. We get to heal for 16 here. So we play Brann. We heal for 16. He still has 10 on the board. We'll be at 22. Takes us to 12. But then we can start to stabilize behind Tyrion, and he's got to make some awkward trades here probably. So.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
He has to kill Brann. Should set us up for Tyrion. He's going to make the trade here. And I hope that means he runs the Knife Juggler into our anti-kill bot, but I'd like him to get rid of the 1/1s because it will help protect Tyrion's shield. If he has a 1/1 on the board or a Knife Juggler on the board, he might get a free Divine Shield ping. If he doesn't trade, a Consecration wins us the game probably. That was a big Knife Juggler miss because he could have used the 1/1s to kill the heal bot. He's going to use the Power Overwhelming instead. Alright, so Tyrion's not as good here, but he's still fine. He's going to have to run 2 of these minions in.
Put your faith in the light.
In other words, he pings the shield here, but the 5 doesn't trade into the 6, so he's going to have to throw away one of those 3/2s unless Knife Juggler does some work for him, which is very likely. Should always get rid of Knife Jugglers as soon as possible if you can. If he has an owl or something, that's going to be really painful. He's used both Power Overwhelmings though, so.
Buying or selling.
Oh, that might be a Power Overwhelming. That's so good. Even a Soulfire would be good. Saves his Doomguard. But we still have Lay on Hands to recover again. He's going to be running out of cards and killing himself soon, so. Alright, that's good. Good miss. Curious what he got.
Why?
Oh, that's annoying. That's really bad for us, because now we can't use our weapon to kill the Doomguard as easily. Man, we're low. Is Consecration good enough? No, it's not. Because that stays alive. He's got 6 damage. He only needs to find 1 damage to win. But he's used both Power Overwhelmings. He's used his Dark Peddler. He's used both Knife Jugglers. Maybe that is the right play. I can't use my weapon this turn if that's the case, but it gets me a body on the board here and allows me to play my Lay on Hands next turn. What other 1 damage options does he have? Another Doomguard? He's got a 2 out of 14 chance to hit the Doomguard.
I wonder.
If I play this, that kills the Juggler, the Peddler. He has 6 damage on the board. I still don't have a way to kill the Voidwalker though. Next turn, I'd have to run my weapon in.
I must move quickly.
8, 10. If I Lay on Hands, I'm at 15. I go to 5. I think I have to do this and hope for an answer. Oh, there's the answer. Cool. That might do it.
For duty.
I played the hero power pretty quickly there because I was worried about time. I knew both of my mini bots were gone because we had them early, so I didn't need to wait on the draw. There was no 2-mana card I could play. Equality, I could play, but I wouldn't have, so it was irrelevant. A taunt would be really helpful. Oh, that's awesome for us, actually. He's gonna feel safe behind that, but it's not. This is the problem, is that we're at 4 health. I need a taunt to. We're gonna play the Twilight Drake. We could play the Blackwing Tech, but there's no reason. This is better with more cards in hand. So we have lethal next turn if he doesn't kill us. Or kill this. We have 9, and this is 3. We have another heal bot in the deck to heal. We have a lot of taunts. We haven't seen any taunts yet other than the Defender of Argus. Those would have gave us a big advantage. Like the Twilight Guardian, if he had to run into that. I mean, our Tyrion definitely bought us a turn, but that Power Overwhelming really helped him. I don't think he has a way to... Oh my goodness! That is a pain, but we can kill it at least. We can do this. Fortunately, we have to sack this. But this heal here should put the game out of reach for him. I don't think he has a way to find 12 damage. And we have lethal on board, so... He might have a Lord Jaraxxus, but he can't play it now, so... Yep. GG. Alright, folks. I think that was a pretty good game to showcase the Bearded Dragon Paladin in action. I don't feel like we need to play too many more. We saw exactly how the deck works. We saw the Brann Bronzebeard and Dragon synergies, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this particular deck guide. I do encourage you to give the Bearded Dragon Paladin deck a try. It's loads of fun, as you saw. It has some crazy synergies and quite a bit of late game power to make it feel really good when you shut out decks exactly like we did there. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck out there playing the Bearded Dragon, and until next time, game on.